One day I'm gonna be everything I wanna be. I don't let it get the most of me. One day I'm gonna be free. I wanna be everything I'm gonna be. My future right in front of me. One day I'm gonna be free. I wanna be free. Then let me be free. From the depths of darkness, a voice emerges. A host with a fire burning in his soul. With a heart, steel, and a spirit unbroken. He rides on two wheels, ready to claim his throne. Amidst the chaos and the thunderous roar, insane wheels rise as a force to be reckoned with. Fueled by the power that only metal can bestow, he takes his step, refusing to submit. Insane wheels hear his battle cry. Metal and mayhem will never die. Rituals report he paves his way. Oh, legend in the making, day by day.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. We have a crazy morning to get through, as always. Great to see everyone in the chat, man. Let's get it. First of all, I would really like to give a big shout out to Virginia Chaos. He gifted out 2 memberships as we are getting into the show, man. I very much appreciate that. Making it rain. Thank you very much for showing some love early on to the show, man. That's a great way to start. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be discussing a war, the Iran war, as well as it escalating. Bondi is now out as Attorney General. She has been fired by Trump. And Artemis, I always say it wrong, Artemis 2 mission, as well as some other stories. So let me go ahead and just give you guys a chronological breakdown of what we're talking about here. So Pam Bondi is out as Attorney General. That happened yesterday. And then, of course, something that is very interesting, we've been talking about how the federal judge put a block on the White House ballroom edition. Well, we've got some news on that from yesterday. Commission approves White House ballroom edition. It says the National Capital Planning Commission signed off on President Trump's plan to add a ballroom to the White House. Very, very interesting. And then we got some crazy shit going on with our man Tiger Woods. He got himself a DUI and rolled his car after hitting a trailer. And he made a phone call while he was actually there on the scene with the cops. He made a phone call to Trump. I thought that was pretty interesting, too. But nonetheless, we have that body camera footage from the whole ordeal. We're going to see that here in a minute. Artemis 2 update. Crew continues towards the moon. And now this came out 17 hours ago. I think they actually did make their way now 17 hours later, but we don't have that story, quote unquote, yet. Anyways, another very interesting development that happened yesterday. Army Chief of Staff was ordered to step down immediately after Hegseth directive. Damn. I forget how old he is, but he's older gentleman. And then, as you guys know, Trump fires Pam Bondi as Attorney General, but Trump says, quote, "We love Pam." Now, to give you guys some reference here, it's not like they have any type of bad blood, or context, I should say. They don't have any bad blood between each other. I think that this was more of a political thing. We have to do this. And then he's going to go ahead and absolutely keep her within his cabinet. And he's been open about that. He's like, we'll just put you somewhere else. Anyways, Hegseth allows troops to carry personal firearms on U.S. military bases. Now, believe it or not, that is something that is odd. I would totally assume that our troops would be able to carry personal firearms on any military base, but that is something that is historically been a no-no, and now that is changing. I don't know what a firearm would do against a missile, but anyways, Trump threatens expanded strikes on Iran. Quote, bridges next, then electric power plants. And yes, that is exactly what the United States did yesterday. Is they took out one of their humongous infrastructures of their largest bridge, actually. Now, this is where we go into like a different level of war, by the way. When we escalate to a point where you're not just attacking the militia, the government, the regime, when you start attacking things that everyday people in that area are going to use or need, that definitely brings it to a whole different level for sure. And then we got Pam Bondi ousted, not without president, it says. So I think Trump actually makes a big post about it. And so I would assume that he would have already done that for sure. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, let's go ahead and do our call to actions real quick. We'll get right into that, and then we'll get right into all the craziness, man. Make sure you guys hit that like button. It helps out the show immensely, and it's free to do so. Make sure you guys double tap the screen if you guys are on the vertical side. I very much appreciate you guys and your laborious work on doing that. As well as hit that subscribe button. This is what we do Monday through Friday, and then, of course, Saturday morning for members only, where we don't talk about any of this shit, by the way. We try to have a good time. Now, talking about memberships, please consider becoming a member, starting only at $3.99 a month. We're making sure we're not breaking the bank out there with anybody. But check it out. This is what allows us to be on these airwaves as well, have these lights on. So thank you guys for becoming members and staying members. A little side note here, follow my Instagram at BallValveTV, where I post everything behind the scenes of not only my life, but as well as the show, Millennial Food Time, breaking news, as well as the campaign trail. Make sure you guys go ahead and hit me up over there. We have a Discord server for all of you legends where we discuss all of these things after the show, because we're only a 1 hour live show, right? So after the show, we like to all go in there and discuss what we're talking about or other breaking news, stuff like that. So go in the video description down below of any one of my live videos. And of course, the invite link will be right there for you. Last but not least, all super chats, super stickers, gifted memberships, and membership signups are, of course, all going to be presented live and shouted out onto the show. But if you guys would like to skip that YouTube 30% brutal cut that they take from your hard-earned cash, by the way, we have these platforms that are scrolling around the screen somewhere, and guess what? I get 100% of the proceeds if you guys donate to those, as well as I will read out loud whatever you send, just like a super chat. So I've got my email up. I'm always scanning, and very much appreciate you guys. All right, so great to see everyone in the building this morning in Virginia Chaos. Thank you for the 2 gifted memberships, and we got Sterling Wheel coming in and dropping a humongous banger, by the way. This is like unreal. Dropping 20 gifted memberships, yo. Now that right there, ladies and gentlemen, is insane. Thank you very much. Sterling Wheel coming in hot, by the way. Very much appreciate that. That goes a long way, and it helps out 20 others in the Insane Wheels family, because we got members only tomorrow morning. If you guys just got one, make sure you guys tune in for that, man. All right, so real quick, we got Jimmy Mack as well as Charlie in the building, as well as a Grillpist. Great to see you in the chat, my man. It's been a minute. Let's see, we got Warlander, we got Pitbull, my man over there in the UK. Shout out to my man. Hopefully you're enjoying your afternoon. Great to see you. We got Carrie as well from Rob's Neighbor. Good morning to you. We got Motobomb Virginia. Yes, sir. And Two Wheel Jesus. Thank you guys for being here. We got Rabbit of Chaos as well as Pablo. Shit, what's up, cuh? Great to see you in the building. We got Roger as well. Good morning to you, kind sir. Roll Tide, baby. Absolutely. We got DOD in the building as well. And Sterling saying, good morning, kids. Yes, sir. Great to see you in the chat, bro. Steve Posey, my man, as well. Appreciate you. Hopefully you're enjoying the morning as well. We got Naomi in the building. Shout out to our favorite moderator. Absolutely. Do you think the Senate will be okay? Well, okay, the ballroom, or will it have to go to SCOTUS? I do think that this is going to be cleared. It's not. I don't think it's going to go to the Supreme Court. Yeah, anyways, just to clarify that. We got Miss Lotus as well. Great to see you in the chat. We got No as well as Barbie. Shit, great to see you in the chat. Hopefully you're enjoying your morning as well. We got Sick Bastard, my man, as well as Uncle Fester. Shit, my man. It's been a minute. Hopefully you're enjoying your morning as well. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we got a lot to get through this morning. I'm super sorry. Pam Bondi out as Attorney General. This was breaking yesterday, and we have some follow-ups on it.
We are continuing to follow breaking news as Fox News is reporting that Attorney General Pam Bondi is out, and a new development coming up in just the past few moments right here. This is some new information as Fox News is reporting that,
as you guys see, Todd Blanche right here, he's the Deputy Attorney General, but he will be the acting Attorney General until Trump picks somebody else.
Todd Blanche is set to become the interim attorney general. So if you're just joining us at this hour, you can see a graphic with three individuals: Attorney General Pam Bondi, Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche, and EPA Administrator Lee Zeldin. The reason why all three of those are on the screen is that President Trump reportedly has fired Attorney General Pam Bondi. That is according to two sources familiar with the matter who spoke with Fox News Digital. And President Trump is reportedly considering replacing Bondi with Environmental Protection Agency Director Lee Zeldin. That is according to...
Now that's interesting. I didn't know that Lee Zeldin was actually someone that Trump is considering. Real quick, we got Beezer coming in with the 5 spot, by the way. Morning, fam. Just popping in and say thank you to all that have reached out to me. Just took my boy Loki for a final car ride. Thanks for the blessings. Much love. Wow, man, I'm super sorry. I did not know about that, Beezer. Otherwise, I would have also contacted you as well. But listen, man, I'm super sorry to hear that. And much love, honor, respect to you. And thank you for the $5. Absolutely. Appreciate that. Making it rain in here. All right.
Sources familiar with that matter. Todd Blanche, who is currently the Deputy Attorney General, is set to become the interim Attorney General. That is according to Fox News. So some new developments unfolding in just the past few moments. And we did...
What's up, Chrono? Good morning. Great to see you in the chat as well.
Want to share that with you. We also wanted to share the breaking news with you from Fox News. Attorney General Bondi met with President Trump in the Oval Office last night. This was ahead of his speech to the nation on the war in Iran, where she was reportedly informed of her ouster. That is according to two sources familiar with that meeting. And one of those sources said that by the time President Trump took his place behind the podium to speak to the nation, Bondi had already lost her job.
What's up, Charles, over there from Down Under, over there in Australia land? Great to see you.
And was on her way back to Florida. So right now, President Trump reportedly considering replacing Bondi with EPA Director Lee Zeldin. That is according to sources familiar with that matter who spoke with Fox News Digital.
Now, this is the first time I'm hearing about Lee Zeldin. Todd Blanche is going to step up to the plate in acting of the Attorney General until that selection process happens, right? We got Jason in the building. Shout out to my man. Good morning to you. Great to see you in the chat as well. All right, we're going to move on. Commission approves White House ballroom addition. This is after the whole federal judge made a block on the whole thing needing congressional approval or whatever. And anyways, let's go ahead and get into this.
Hearing and seeing none.
It's only 54 seconds, by the way. I think we're just going to hear the vote.
At this point, Madam Secretary, could you please confirm the motion in the second and then take the vote by roll call?
Yes, the original motion was made by Commissioner Dixon and amended by Chairman Scharf. The original motion was seconded by Commissioner Schaefer and seconded as amended by Vice Chairman Levenbach. With that, Commissioner Solisas? Commissioner Stidham?
Yes.
Commissioner Argo?
Present?
Vice Chairman Levenbach?
Yes.
Chairman Scharf?
Yes.
Commissioner Blair?
Yes.
Administrator Forrest?
Yes.
Commissioner Dixon?
Present.
Chairman Mendelson?
No.
So I believe the vote was 8-1. That was the one no that you heard right there, and everyone else was a yes.
Commissioner Henderson?
Yes.
Commissioner Giacchetti?
Yes.
Thank you. The motion passes.
Thank you, Madam Secretary.
All right, so you guys know that has passed, and it looks like they're going to be continuing forward with that. We got an interesting development. It's one of those things that have made the news on a major scale. And honestly, I really try to avoid personal stories from celebrities and stuff like that, because honestly, we focus on the world. But we're going to make an exception for this one because of how crazy the media is treating this. There's a new body cam footage that is coming out with into regards of Tiger Woods, of his DUI accident and his arrest. So anyways, it's going viral like a motherfucker, of course. And we're going to go ahead and discuss it. Now, I have one thing basically to say to Tiger Woods. You need to embrace thy fuck up.
Don't beat yourself up over past mistakes. You are going to fuck up again in the future, quite possibly in a most spectacular fashion. Why worry about yesterday's fuck ups when you have tomorrow's fuck ups to look forward to? You are a fuck up, and fucking up is part of your growth process. Embrace the process.
Yeah, and Chrono, absolutely. You're going to see he got himself a little hammered up, a little liquored up, or whatever the case is. Hit a trailer on the side, and then rolled his car onto its actual side. So we're going to see all the craziness here in a minute. All right, let's go ahead and bring this up, and we'll discuss it quickly. And we're not going to focus too much on, again, personal stories and shit like that, but we have some body cam footage that's being released.
Body camera footage shows the immediate aftermath of golfing legend Tiger Woods.
And yes, Miss Lotus, as soon as he was off to the side of the road and he was like, you know, waiting it out before he got actually arrested, he made a phone call to Trump, actually, at the scene.
Its car crash in Florida last week, resulting in that DUI arrest. Again, we are getting a look at some of the video, and this is actually a post here on your screen from TMZ.
Yeah, Jimmy Mac, that totally makes sense. I would imagine, like, what, Percocet 30s or something like that? Perc 30s?
It says, watch Tiger Woods DUI body cam footage released. I want to bring in Michael Babcock with TMZ, always joining us to break down the latest headlines here. Michael,
What's up, SST? Great to see you in the chat. And by the way, I really don't care about what this guy has to say. All I care about is the footage. So we're going to kind of skip ahead a little bit.
Is just feet away, lying on its side after having just rolled over during this crash. And Tiger Woods explains to the officer what happened. He says something to the effect of he was looking down at his phone.
What is he doing there?
And then all of a sudden, boom, as he mimicked hitting this, this large pickup truck hauling this industrial or this commercial pressure washer.
He almost like holding his shit up. I mean, like, no joke. You know, like how right now he's doing this or whatever. I don't know why. I don't know if that's the cops are asking him to do these things. I don't know. But it looks like when you're doing like one of these things, you know, like, what's up, issy? You know what I mean? Like, that's almost what it looks like, you know, being in the hood.
Sure. And obviously then sending his car careening off to the side. So he tried to explain the accident right away. And then moments later, you see Tiger Woods being put through a battery of different field sobriety tests that the law enforcement did not think.
Oh, he's on the best medication. That is the only pill in the world that actually fucking matters. Oxys. Oxys and Roxys, actually. Those are the two that are the best of the world.
That he performed very well at, and because of that, you actually see Tiger on video being put in handcuffs.
I want to go kind of in reverse
here
because a lot of people heard about the arrest. They maybe saw the aftermath there. What do we know overall about the investigation into the incident and really how the incident itself played out?
Yeah, so this was just at about 2 p.m. in Jupiter, Florida on Friday. Tiger Woods was leaving his home, and he was driving in this Range Rover. It's a very...
What's up, TVT? Good morning to you. Great to see you in the chat.
Powerful vehicle. It's 600-plus horsepower, so it's very fast. And he was on a two-lane road, a road that he knows very well. It's a road that he travels on, very often.
Yeah, I think it's his own neighborhood.
And he was, like he told the police officer, apparently not keeping his eyes on the road at that point. And there
well, he did say on the actual arrest, well, not arrest. It was right when the cops were approaching him, asking him what the fuck he's doing, what happened. And he's kneeling on one knee off to the side from the rolled car. And the cop's like, are you comfortable sitting like this or whatever? He's like, yeah, this is how I need to sit. And you could tell that his feet were kind of rocking, where he's like trying to keep himself up. He's like, whether that be his nerves are shot from this whole incident, plus on top of it being inebriated in some form of fashion, maybe whether it's alcohol, whether it's pain pills, whatever, you could tell that he was a little rocky. He wasn't like, he couldn't even stand up properly, obviously. So anyways, back to this.
Was this vehicle in front of him that was turning off into a driveway, and he does not see it. He hits the back of the car.
He hits the back of a trailer. Say it correctly, man. If you're gonna fucking report shit, he hit the back of a trailer, not a car.
It sends him on his side. The driver of the other vehicle actually then aided Tiger Woods in getting him out because the car was then on its side, and he clearly could not get out of the driver's side door, so he had to climb out, sort of upward and out of the vehicle that way, and he got helped by the guy that he had just...
I don't know if he actually had any actual injuries, though, Charles.
He is ultimately then,
I mean, he's standing up right there right now getting arrested.
Under the influence. They say he's sweating profusely in the back of an air-conditioned police car, and that's why they put him through the battery of tests. Josh, they take him to the police station, or the jail, rather, I should say, and he is administered not one but 2 breathalyzer tests, and he blows zeros across the board on the breathalyzer test, so showing that he did not have any...
Wow, he did blow zeros, huh? Shit. Well, that means, yeah, you ain't drinking, but you on some other shit.
Alcohol in his system. At that point, though, if he thought that he had, okay, I'm okay here, this arrest is not...
Okay, yeah. I'm unfamiliar with Tiger's entire story, to be honest. I don't keep up on dude. I like playing golf, but I don't like watching it. You know, I never gave a shit. So, and that goes with all sports, by the way. Don't think, oh, he hates watching golf. What? I hate watching any sports. Just saying. I mean, let's just be real.
Oh, shit! Going to stick. Wasn't the case because they then asked Tiger Woods to submit to a urine test, and that he said, no, I'm not going to take. Now, that would have theoretically...
Joseph, my man up there in Canada, our favorite snow Mexican. Great to see you in the chat.
He showed any substances, prescription medications, illegal narcotics that might be in his system. Tiger Woods refused that test. They made him aware of the fact that if you do refuse that test, that is a charge in itself. He still said, no, I'm not going to take it, and that's why ultimately he gets 2 misdemeanor charges. DUI with property damage is one, the more serious charge, and secondly...
With property damage, so because he hit that trailer and fucked it up.
Failing to submit to an official test. Those are the 2 charges that Tiger is facing.
Interesting. Now, what I care about, here's his mugshot, by the way. There's Tiger's little mugshot, bro.
Bruh.
Brutal. And... here is the car on its side.
He ultimately had a litany of prescription medications in his system at that point. He was arrested for DUI, but ultimately pled down to a lesser charge.
So when he hit the trailer, he hit the very, very side of it, okay? It was the trailer and the car was parked off to the side. And he ended up rolling, and he told the cops while he was kneeling down off to the side over there that he had briefly just looked at his phone. He looked down, and as he looked down, he hit that thing. And the tire actually went up on the side of, like, the wheel, where the wheel well is on the trailer. Well, it's got that little, like, metal thing to, like, you know, protect the wheel or whatever. He hit that and goes up and then slides his whole car, you know, to the side, and it just, boom, lands like that. So anyways, that's how that happened.
And then you go to 2021, not too far from where I am here in L.A. Tiger
What's up, Chad with Stacks? Good morning
Woods
to you.
Was involved in a crash where it was so bad, and he was so badly injured that he almost lost his leg, and ultimately has now had something like 20...
He almost lost his leg? Shit, that's terrible.
Procedures done on that leg. That's how badly injured he was in that case. And a lot of people had a big issue with this. Tiger Woods was never tested in that case
so in his previous case,
to try and determine if he was under the influence of alcohol or drugs. He just wasn't tested. No blood test ever drawn. No breathalyzer ever administered.
But this time,
and a lot of people looked at that crash and said, I think that there was more to this than just Tiger Woods seemingly driving off of a road in Los Angeles. They believed he was under the influence. Obviously was not charged, so it is what it is. But
yeah, and this time they are going to be looking, going up and down with this whole thing. All right, so we got to go ahead and move on. All right, we're going to move on into Artemis 2 update. Crew continues towards the moon. This came out yesterday, so this is one of our most recent updates on this whole thing.
We continue to follow the latest developments.
We're not going to play this whole thing either. It's fairly short, but we're not even going to play the whole thing.
Of Artemis 2. History being made yesterday with the liftoff of Artemis 2. And I did want to share this live look of Kennedy's Space Center.
What's up, Jack Telcott? Good morning to you. Happy Friday. Great to see you in the chat, bro.
You can see that the countdown clock is now a count-up clock as the mission is now entering into its 19th hour. We shared that incredible launch with you right here on Live Now from Fox. NASA's Artemis 2 test flight now underway with 4 astronauts aboard heading to the moon, marking humanity's first crewed journey beyond low Earth orbit in more than half a century. So truly historic right there. Joining us now to talk more about this historic moment is Jamie Favors, who is NASA's Space Weather Program Director with the Heliophysics Division. And Jamie, we appreciate you taking the time to join us here on Live Now from Fox.
Thank you all so much.
And we'll briefly hear what this guy has to say. I can already tell you this guy has terrible audio. He's using his laptop microphone. You know, like, come on, man. You're going to be talking to millions of people. And we can't even hear you correctly.
Millions of people were watching this historic moment yesterday, either, with Live Now or in person. For you, before we get into the logistics, can you talk about what that moment felt like for you?
Yeah, it was a very special moment. So I was out here at the Cape in person watching with quite a few family and friends and everything. And I've seen a lot of launches, but boy, that was a special rocket yesterday. Beautiful watching it go off the pad, and the weather cleared up right on time for us. So I actually got to see it for minutes after launch and watch the SRBs actually separate.
This is going to be a 10-day test, and what we hope to learn.
10 days.
Sure
wow.
thing. So even though we've flown this vehicle in space before, this is the first time with crew.
And that's something interesting because I haven't heard an actual timeline yet on this whole Artemis 2 mission. So it's 10 days is what they expect.
On board. So they're going to do a lot of that testing, just like you mentioned. So we'll be testing out a lot of the systems, a lot of the environmental controls, the life support controls. Actually, Victor, our pilot on the spacecraft, will be doing some of the manual maneuvering we weren't able to do on the prior flight on Artemis 1. So we'll be testing out the spacecraft on the maneuvering side of things.
Pablo, yes. What we call that is phantom pain. And what phantom pain actually is, it's nerve pain. That's what it is. But essentially, it's like the end of my nerves on my leg are reaching for something that is no longer there. So, like, if I start to wiggle my non-existing toes, like how you normally would, I can do that with my mind right now and actually physically feel it because the nerves are reaching for something that is actually no longer there. And it does cause pain, by the way. But yeah, anyways.
We have a lot of science experiments we'll also be getting to do. The crew's been trained in a lot of geology to be able to do from the lunar orbit. So when they're on the far side, they're actually looking at the surface, picking out areas of interest, as well as looking at...
Oh, shit. No. Yeah, make sure you tell your buddy to follow me and reach out to me on my Instagram right here, @BallValveTV. This is the best way to get a hold of me. I reference all my videos on Instagram for anybody that is newly amputated or anything like that. I have all that content there. And this is where I respond to the most, by the way. So make sure, have them reach out or over here on the Instagram, and we'll go from there. Absolutely.
Some of the parts of the lunar surface, and we may be landing on some of those exact spots in just a couple years.
All right. We are losing your shot just a little bit, Jamie. We did want to let you know that you're glitching just a little bit, but we're going to...
Yeah, we don't need it. We don't need to see this motherfucker that doesn't have any good audio. He can't even hold a video live stream. Come on, man. Just brutal. Anyways, we're going to go ahead and move on. Army Chief of Staff ordered to step down immediately after Hegseth directive. And yes, this is a big deal right here. And we'll go ahead and discuss it briefly.
A major shakeup within...
Oh, you know what? We haven't done shit. Because honestly, we had Sterling Wheel and Virginia Chaos showing so much love already with the donations. But check it out. For the rest of you motherfuckers, we got to get the money part over.
All right, just get the money part done.
Give me money. Money me. Money now. Me a money needing a lot now.
And that's actual factuals, by the way.
Denied.
Here we go.
The Pentagon, as Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth has said that they are stepping aside the Army Chief of Staff, Randy.
What's up, Wild Card? Good morning, and thank God it's Friday, right, bro? Great to see you.
George to step down and take immediate retirement on Thursday in a sweeping leadership shakeup as the U.S. military remains engaged in combat with Iran. And we do have a post from Sean.
What's up, Patrick, out there in Ireland? Shout out to Ireland for sure. Great to see you, and happy afternoon, I guess, for you. Because over here it's morning time.
Parnell, the chief spokesperson on social media, saying Randy George, the general, will be retiring from his position as the 41st chief.
Whoa, we got Chrono coming in and gifting out 5 memberships for you guys. Let's go. Helping me and 5 others in the Insane Wheels family, man. I very much appreciate you sending it out this morning. Very much appreciate it. Making it rain over here, chat. All right. Appreciate that, Chrono.
Staff of the Army effective immediately. The Department of War is grateful for General George's decades of service to our nation. We wish him well in his retirement. And Pete Hegseth also posted this on social media discussing the same.
Was founded on a simple yet bold idea. Our rights as citizens are not granted to us by government, but instead by God. 250 years ago, the Revolutionary War was fought to secure our God-given rights. The Second Amendment to our Constitution enshrines the right of all citizens.
All right, so that was Pete Hegseth there talking about guns on bases, but we want to get into back of what's going on with this. Randy George, the general, saying he's stepping down, taking retirement. Let's be joined right now by Konstantin Toropin from the...
Konstantin, what a name. From the Associated Press.
Associated Press. Obviously, it's a major shakeup, similar to what we saw back in February of 2025. How surprised were we by this move?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think the parallel to those early days of the Trump administration are sort of undeniable when Pete Hegseth, along with President Donald Trump, relieved not only the top officer for the Navy, Admiral Lisa Franchetti, but also the #2 general at the U.S. Air Force, and obviously the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, General C.Q. Brown. I think, in terms of how anticipated this was, I think for folks that were not sort of knee deep in Pentagon minutia or sort of reading the tea leaves, I think it was...
Yeah, I'm sure that there was internal conflicts that nobody actually knew about on the outside, including me, including you, all that. But inside, I'm sure that there was arguments being had and stuff like that. And I'm sure tempers have gone up and down and all that shit. So it's probably no surprise in the aspect of the Pentagon, right?
It came as a total surprise. While obviously Pete Hegseth and the Trump administration has not been shy about dismissing a lot of their officers who, for undisclosed reasons, this especially amid the conflict in Iran, struck, I think, a lot of people as surprising.
Yeah, and obviously he is the highest...
Hey, Drifter, I appreciate that, my man. And for the rest of you guys, make sure you guys hit that like button, man. You don't have to like all the craziness that is being reported throughout the world right now, but you guys can like it for me and what we do here, so thank you for that.
Uniformed officer within the Army, and of course you mentioned the ongoing conflict in Iran. Does this change anything about the readiness of the Army with this environment going on in the Middle East?
I mean, the top uniformed officials for all the branches, for the most part, are not tactical leaders. These aren't folks that, oversee, where troops go on any given day, for example. But these are officials that are responsible for, as they always like to say.
Hey, listen. I've been fired from a job before. How come that shit didn't make the news? Come on, man. What the fuck?
Say manning, training, and equipping the force that gets fielded by combatant commanders, like those overseeing combat in the Middle East. So, his ouster is not likely to create any immediate impact, but it creates instability in the overall leadership of the Army that makes sort of the continuity of any particular effort or training pipelines the Army.
You know what we haven't done yet either? Holy shit. We gotta light up. You know what I mean? Get our counterclockwise tobacco going. Okay, now we're ready. Now we're ready for the rest of this. Let's go.
Has more challenging, I think.
And who comes next? Because during those previous round of shakeup with leadership, other people that were associated with Pete Hegseth...
That's a great question, Andy.
...actually got elevated, that were close to him in that regard. Who is next in line for this, and what does it look like, a confirmation process?
Right. So the position itself is obviously confirmable by Congress. So eventually the Trump administration will have to formally nominate somebody for the post. At the moment, General George's #2, a general by the name of Christopher Leneve, will step in as an acting Army Chief of Staff. Leneve himself has sort of an interesting trajectory to that post. Up until the beginning of the Trump administration, he was a 2-star general commanding a unit in South Korea. Since Hegseth came to power, Leneve first served as his top military aide for a spell, and much more recently, he was put into the sort of deputy position, also under sort of interesting circumstances where he was nominated for the job while there was a general already holding that position. General James Mingus was already in that vice chief of staff job and had not publicly announced any intention to retire when Leneve was nominated for the post.
Interesting. All right. So at least you guys know what has happened here. We don't need to play the remainder of it, even though we were almost done. You guys get the deal. So we're going to move on to Pam Bondi again. We already told you guys that she's been fired, but she's going to be, there's no bad blood between her and Trump. Actually, Trump is on this video, comes out and says, quote, "We love Pam." And yes, so he's essentially taking her, away from the attorney general spot, but he's going to keep her within his administration. He's just going to move her. So anyways, let's go ahead and bring this up and we'll discuss it.
And let's be joined right now by the Associated Press's Eric Tucker. Eric, thank you so much for joining us. And you heard in that story the line from Pam Bondi saying the list of the Epstein files is on her desk. Was that the ultimate moment that potentially sealed this decision for Trump to fire Pam Bondi?
I'm not sure that it was the ultimate moment because that actually took place a year ago, but I think it was the beginning of what came to be seen as the real mishandling in a variety of ways of the Epstein files. And I think there's no question that that moment was something that really riled up the base of the president in a negative way and really angered the...
You know, honestly, Blair, I have not seen that. I mean, are you talking about a while ago? Because there's no way he said that recently.
Conservative population and supporters of Trump who would be naturally most inclined to support Attorney General Bondi.
And just talking about her tenure as the lead of the department.
Yes, Steve Posey, Aaron is back on the Diamond Effect. He's been super busy doing his classes and all that stuff. So once in a while, he won't be able to make the live streams because he'll be in class doing a whole bunch of stuff or whatever. But yeah, he's back and he'll be there as much as his schedule will allow him. No, like yesterday, Blair? What? Can you text that to me, please? Can you text me that post? That'd be
Justice,
great.
that might have been the first moment, but what other moments along the way strike a
be safe out there, Naomi? Appreciate you.
Potential move of this decision because it somewhat came out of nowhere despite a little bit of a couple speed bumps along the way.
I think we saw that there have been sort of a real, I don't know if failure is the right word, but an inability to deliver prosecutions against enemies, perceived enemies of President Trump. And there's no question that was an issue that the Attorney General really struggled to do. Trump had made no secret of his desire to see different opponents of his locked up. The Attorney General was not successful in being able to accomplish that.
Yeah, and obviously we'll see who comes next because that is going to be what's on President Trump's mind as well. Right now is the deputy Todd Blanche, the EPA admin Lee Zeldin, also floated as a potential pick. Who has the top odds to be the next DOJ, the next Attorney General?
Well, you know, Lee Zeldin is a really interesting pick because he's somebody who Trump is very openly supportive of. He described him at a meeting 2 months ago as our secret weapon. He's a Long Island guy.
What's up, Papa Penguin? Good morning to you. And listen, we're blessed when you're here at all. I mean, you just showing up, just saying hi when you can. You know, we totally are blessed with that. So appreciate you, bro.
He's known Trump for a long time. He's a loyalist. So in a certain sense, that would make a lot of sense as a pick. On the other hand, Todd Blanche is somebody who he's known for a long time.
Yeah, but I don't think Blanche is going to get it. He'll get the acting Attorney General for now until Trump decides who to replace him with, essentially.
As well, and served as the president's personal lawyer. But we're not even certain that the Deputy Attorney General wants to be the Attorney General in perpetuity.
Yeah, and does he look, just based on history of who President Trump has picked as Attorney General, this time it being Pam Bondi back during his first term, Jeff Sessions, Bill Barr. Can we read into anything like that? Does he go with a safer pick or a riskier pick? Do we read?
Yeah, that's all speculation. I don't give a shit about speculation. We're going to move on. Excuse me. Hegseth allows troops to carry personal firearms on U.S. military bases now. Now, this is totally interesting. I never knew this aspect. I mean, you guys that are vets and stuff, you guys know this shit, but I didn't know this. Hegseth allows troops to carry personal firearms on U.S. military bases. I thought that any troop in the United States, right, U.S. troops, would be able to carry their personal firearms on any military base across the world. But I didn't know that. I didn't know that you couldn't do that. So anyways, totally interesting. And so that is changing, I guess. So let's go ahead and bring it up.
All right, a live look at the White House. While we're talking about Secretary Hegseth, let's talk about some other Hegseth headlines. Secretary Hegseth earlier today saying that he will allow service members to carry personal weapons onto military installations, citing the Second Amendment and recent shootings at bases across the country. He said our military installations have been turned into gun-free zones, leaving our service members vulnerable and exposed. That ends today.
Well, that is insane to me. I mean, a military base. Military base, motherfucker. And you weren't allowed to bring your own firearms. That shit is like, who came up with that kind of thinking process? I mean, that should be the one place that you should have guns. I mean, what the fuck?
He posted this video.
Our great republic was founded on a simple yet bold idea. Our rights as citizens are not granted to us by government, but instead by God. 250 years ago, the Revolutionary War was fought to secure our God-given rights. The Second Amendment to our Constitution enshrines the right of all citizens to carry weapons to protect themselves.
And also, U.S. bases, even though they're in other countries, it's considered to be U.S. soil, you know? So anyways, it should follow, the Second Amendment should follow any United States soil, right? So anyways, good argument.
Their families and their fellow countrymen. The War Department's uniformed service members are trained at the highest and unwavering standards. These warfighters, entrusted with the safety of our nation, are no less entitled to exercise their God-given right to keep and bear arms than any other American. Our warfighters defend the right of others to carry. They should be able to carry themselves.
Yes, of course. What the fuck? I just can't believe that was ever a policy. It blows my mind.
Events like what happened at Fort...
Like, what bureaucratic motherfucker came in and said that our military troops should not be able to carry firearms?
Stewart, Holloman Air Force Base, or Pensacola Naval Air Station have made clear that some threats are closer to home than we would like. In these instances, minutes are a lifetime, and our service members have the courage and training to make those precious short minutes count. Before today, it was virtually impossible. Most people probably don't know this. It was virtually impossible for War Department personnel to get permission to carry and store their own personal weapons aligned with the state laws where we operate our installations. I mean, effectively, our bases across the country were gun-free zones. Unless you're training or unless...
Like, I would have never thought that, by the way. Like, I would have, as a citizen, somebody that has not served in the military, I would only assume that the bases would be, like, loaded up.
You are a military policeman. You couldn't...
Would have never guessed gun-free zones.
Carry. You couldn't bring your own firearm for your own personal protection onto post. Well, that's no longer. The memo I'm signing today directs installation commanders to allow requests for personal protection.
Steve Posey, I got you, bro.
Stupid. Carry a privately owned firearm with the presumption that it is necessary for personal protection. If a request is for some reason denied, the reason for that denial will be in writing and will explain in detail the basis for that direction. Again, the presumption is service members will be able to have their Second Amendment right on post.
Yo, real quick, we got my man Virginia Chaos coming in hot on the Cash App, my man. I very much appreciate that. He sends in $10 saying, membership jumping now. It's the money, gas money. I very much appreciate the $10 to the Cash App, Virginia Chaos, my man. That goes a long way. Trust me, man. That shit, it does. Like, I mean, listen, that's 2 gallons of gas at this point. You know what I mean?
Not all enemies are foreign, nor are they all outside our borders. Some are domestic. Confirming your God-given right to self-protection is what I'm signing into action today, and I'm proud to do so.
Secretary Hegseth posting that earlier today.
Well, I'm totally mind blown by this whole thing. Like, I would have never guessed any of it. I'm just blown away. Anyways, Trump threatens expanded strikes on Iran. Quote, bridges next, then electric power plants. So this is already bringing us into the second category of war, where we call it total war or all-out war, whatever. My cat's chasing a little... She found a mouse. Get it. Anyways, once in a while they come in here, whatever. It's part of living in the South. Anyways, totally crazy on this whole thing when we are starting to hit stuff like electrical grids, oil and gas infrastructure, bridges. This is when we're taking war to a whole different level, okay? When we're attacking just military personnel, regimes, stuff like that, that's one thing. But then when you start attacking things that hurt citizens of that country, that's a whole different level. And once you get to that level, you can't go back. So anyways, just wanted to say that because it is a big deal. And we just took out one of their biggest, most trafficked bridges over there in Tehran, Iran. So let's go ahead and bring this up and discuss a little bit.
This is a statement from President Trump this morning as he's speaking on Iran. I wanted to read it to you here in full. He says, our military, the greatest and most powerful by far anywhere in the world, hasn't even started destroying what's left in Iran. Bridges next, then electric power plants. New regime leadership knows what has
Oh, yeah. She catches them like a motherfucker. Absolutely.
to be done and has to be done fast, President Trump. So once again, that was just shared to Truth Social here this morning. This coming as Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth has asked the Army's top uniformed officer, General Randy George, to step down. That's according to the Pentagon. But they didn't give a reason for the departure as the United States is continuing this war against Iran.
What's up, Bob, up there in Canada? Great to see you, by the way. Hopefully you're enjoying your Friday morning.
Ouster is just the latest of more than a dozen firings of top generals and admirals by Hegseth since he took office last year. Now, we've also been talking a lot about President Trump's address Wednesday night, and President Trump had said U.S. forces will keep hitting Iran very hard in the next 2 or 3 weeks and bring the country back to the Stone Ages, even as he touted the success of U.S. operations and argued that all of Washington's objectives have so far been met or exceeded. Now, as of this morning, Iran is firing more missiles at Israel and Gulf Arab states, with a spokesperson for its military insisting yesterday that Tehran maintains hidden stockpiles of arms, munitions, and production facilities. So,
what's up, Tiffany? Good morning. Great to see you in the chat, by the way. Good morning.
So there is a lot to talk about here. I want to bring in Saurabh Shukula. He is a geopolitics expert to break this all down for us. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us this morning on Live Now from Fox.
Yo, Ghost Eagle. Shout out to my man over there on the West Coast. Very much appreciate you, bro. Hopefully you're enjoying your your Friday morning. Yeah, it's definitely not a Monday.
Appreciate it.
Christy, great to be on your show to deconstruct what's happening on Iran war.
What's up, Ava? Great to see you. Or Ava, great to see you in the chat.
Absolutely, and there's a lot. So President Trump now openly threatening to target Iran's infrastructure, as we just saw in that Truth Social post. He says that includes bridges and power plants, but he has also said this will wind down within the coming weeks. So how do you interpret that? And
and I actually something that that I heard that is very interesting. A take that we shouldn't be necessarily. This came from Hal Kempfer. That we shouldn't be necessarily telling the opposition. That's essentially what you're doing when you're telling your own people, like, hey, we're going to go in there and we're going to be out of there in a couple of weeks or something like that. Whatever, any type of timeline. It lets the opposition know, so in this case, Iran, it lets them know, hey, if we just weather the storm, they're trying to pull out because they got political pressure like a motherfucker over there. If we just weather the storm and drag this out and make this very expensive for them as well, that's how, this is exactly how Iran's playing the game, because they can't win on a military front, but they can win on this front. And so we may win the war, but we may lose politically. You know what I mean?
what is that signaling about U.S.
Feel like we already
strategy
have.
right now?
I must say, Christy, that, from the outset, President Trump had a plan to make sure that Iran does not become a nuclear power, does not get nuclear weapons. The ballistic missile.
We already know this. Come on, man. I explained all of this way better than this motherfucker already has. All right, so bad first impressions there.
Of Operation Epic Fury that we will continue until our objective.
This was on Wednesday night. This was when Trump was making the address to the nation, by the way.
Are fully achieved. Thanks to the progress we've made, I can say tonight that we are on track to complete all of America's military objectives shortly, very shortly. We're going to hit them extremely hard over the...
I got you, GEG.
Why are you gay? You are gay.
Next 2 to 3 weeks, we're going to bring them back to the Stone Ages where they belong. In the meantime, discussions are ongoing. Regime change was not our goal. We never said regime change, but regime change has occurred because of all of their original leaders' death. They're all dead. The new group is less radical and much more reasonable.
Shit.
All right, so a lot to break down there, but I first wanted to ask...
We don't need to break it down, actually. Let's go ahead and see here. Over the past month in Lebanon, this is from the IDF, by the way, 1,000 terrorists eliminated. That's what they are guesstimating, including senior commanders, 3,500 plus terror targets struck, 5 central bridges used to transfer weapons, and enemy forces struck, key assets and financial storage sites struck. So very fucking brutal. Looks like Israel is definitely doing the exact same thing of going to that next level of total war, where they're not just attacking the regime, but they're actually attacking infrastructure, which is brutal.
Take on the threat of terrorism. Iran for so long has been...
Oh my God, this fucking guy. I'm over. I can't listen to him. I can't listen to that guy. Because Iran is posed a threat? Shut up, dude. All right, anyways, we're moving on. Pam Bondi, Pam Bondi ousted not without precedent, it says. So let's go ahead and bring this up. Trump made a post about this. This is why we're going to talk about it real quick.
This coming in Truth Social from Donald Trump's Truth Social account. President Trump saying, Pam Bondi is a great American patriot and a loyal friend who faithfully served as my attorney general over the past year. Pam did a tremendous job overseeing a massive crackdown in crime across our country, with murders plummeting to their lowest level since the 1900s. We love Pam, and she will be transitioning to a much needed and important new job in the private sector to be announced at a date in the near future. And our Deputy Attorney General and a very talented and respected legal mind, Todd Blanche, will step in to serve as acting Attorney General. Thank you for your attention to this matter, President Donald J. Trump. And to talk more about...
And that just right there just solidifies, like, okay, Pam Bondi has not been fired on, like, some bad terms, like, you're not going to be a part of this administration anymore. He's just moving her.
This latest shakeup here in the White House and a Trump administration, we want to bring in Rich Rubino here, a political historian and political analyst. Thank you so much for joining us this morning.
My pleasure.
And I just want to get your initial reaction to this news. Were you surprised at all by this latest ousting?
I was a little bit surprised simply because the day prior, Donald Trump had actually gone to hear a Supreme Court hearing, and he'd actually brought her with him. And you'd think if he was doing that they were on relatively good terms. But obviously, the president's been thinking about doing this for quite some time. I think.
Yeah, Bob. I mean, things change for damn sure. That's exactly what he did want, and now he won't. It looks like he won't get it, so now that's why that's been dropped. I mean, it's very simple.
In part because he did not like the way that
he put himself in a very sticky situation, for sure.
He handled the Epstein scandal and the fact that she has not been able to fully prosecute and convict some political adversaries like Attorney General Letitia James of New York and like former FBI Director James Comey.
So what do you believe ultimately led to this move here by the president?
I think that's basically what it was. I think he views her as being feckless. I think that Donald Trump wants retribution against his adversaries. He believes that they did him wrong, and he wants retribution, and he believes that she is not essentially she is not.
Yeah, GG, that sucks.
Provided that, and also I think he was a little bit embarrassed by some of her handling of the Epstein files. I think that he wants to kind of move on. There is history, by the way, of presidents firing attorney generals. This isn't the first time it's ever happened. President Truman, for example, fired Howard McGrath, who was attorney general his last year in office in 1952, because he had fired a prosecutor, a special prosecutor that was looking into corruption at the Justice Department at the time. Richard Nixon in 1973 fired Elliot Richardson, the attorney general, because, again, he would not fire the special prosecutor involved in the Watergate scandal. So there is some precedent. Donald Trump himself tried to fire Jeff Sessions in his first administration. So there is some precedent here. And Donald Trump certainly in the past has fired cabinet officials that he believes were feckless.
And do you think there is any bad blood or animosity with this? And just reading that last Truth Social post, President Trump was saying, we love Pam Bondi. It doesn't sound like from his angle that he was upset at all in that post. Just want to get
it's on good terms.
Your analysis on that.
I don't think so. I don't think it was necessarily personal between the two.
Right.
I think it's more that Donald Trump wants to move on. I think that he views that he wants to get somebody else in there. There's talk of perhaps Lee Zeldin, former congressman from New York, who would actually run for governor and been the Republican nominee and probably overperformed as a Republican nominee as governor of New York.
Currently, yeah, I mean, no Republican is getting in over there as governor over there in New York anytime soon.
The EPA administrator, that's probably the front runner. There's a possibility that Todd Blanche, the acting attorney general currently and former personal attorney for Donald Trump, could move up to that position. So there are other people that potentially could move up to their position. And Donald Trump, like many of his predecessors, is very much ready, willing, and able to change course and to fire cabinet officials and bring in new ones.
And so what do we know about Todd Blanche now for people that may not have heard of him or know much about him? What can we expect from him?
That's a good question.
He's a very much a loyalist to Donald Trump. He's actually a former registered Democrat. He began his career as a Democrat.
Interesting.
He's worked as a prosecutor. He's worked in private practice as well. He came back from a very lucrative position in a law firm. And he during his position in that law firm, he was one of the defenders of Donald Trump in the case where Stormy Daniels involving hush money. And
well, yeah, that was all bullshit. That actually was a crock of shit.
Donald Trump liked him and actually moved him into the administration. He became deputy attorney general. So he's somebody who's very much a political loyalist, if you will, to Donald Trump. And I think there's a strong possibility, at least a formidable possibility, that he could become attorney general, at least that he could go from acting attorney general to attorney general.
And then is there any significance, do you think, to the timing of this, especially when the U.S. is amid that ongoing conflict?
Yeah, there's a lot of political pressure. And then he, meaning he being Trump, added a lot more political pressure on himself with this whole Iran war. So yeah, it looks like a little bit of a struggle bus for sure. But all right, ladies and gentlemen, that is the end here. Guys, I can't thank each and every single one of you guys enough. I can't thank each and one of you guys enough as well that sit there and actually donate and engage with us, man. I'm very appreciative of your guys hitting that like button. I mean, that alone, hitting that like button, I don't tell anybody that you have to donate here. But I do tell you guys, you got to hit that like button, bro. This is what has made our channel actually grow exponentially. So, or however you say it, whatever. Much love, honor, respect, everybody. Thank you all for being here with us this morning, and we'll be back not tomorrow morning for more of the world's madness. Tomorrow morning is members only, man. So every Saturday morning we have a great time. Anyways, I'll see you guys tomorrow for members only. If you guys aren't a member, I'll see you guys Monday morning for more of the world's madness. Till then, God bless everyone. Stick around. We're going to be raiding our buddy Chaotic Truth as well, so let them know we're coming through with the Mike Ball raid. And hit that like button on the way out. Much love, everybody. We'll see you guys very soon.
From the depths of darkness, a voice emerges, a host with a fire burning in his soul. With a heart, steel, and a spirit unbroken, he rides on two wheels, ready to claim his throne. Amidst the chaos and the thunderous roar, insane wheels rise as a force to be reckoned with. Fueled by the power that only metal can bestow, he takes his stand, refusing to submit.